getting the big oil guys light years ahead of ChatGPT, trying to get them, along with others, to invest trillions and trillions of dollars. Pretty interesting. Welcome back, guys. Hope this finds you very well, of course. So apparently, Goldman Sachs called Nvidia stock the most important in the world. Of course, surging and smashing estimates. Now, the most important stock on planet Earth. How long can this last? Well, it seems like it might last a little while. So is it a local top or a breakout moment, considering it did top $2 trillion, which is pretty massive? So the reason for smashing all of these estimates, of course, is AI, the beginning of Skynet. Anyway, so Nvidia actually, most of their earnings are from data centers, basically facilities filled with GPUs, graphic processing units, sold by Nvidia that handle all the workload, mainly, apparently, by the companies dealing with AI, where the data center revenue alone was $18.4 billion. That is huge. And get this, that is up 409% year over year, beating the estimates of $17.21 billion. There is so much money in this AI field that it's actually extremely ludicrous. Now, if you look at the equations here, they all lead to the same answer, which is 10. That's just how math works. There's a lot of different ways to get there. So metaphorically speaking, what NVIDIA is doing with AI can be done in a totally different way, which in turn is going to create massive competition in this space, the newest one being called Groq. And they use something called LPUs. The company Groq says the LPUs stand for language processing units, which in turn work with LLMs, the large language models. So the company Groq designs hardware specific for language, and they say that this gives it a massive edge versus utilizing graphic processing units, which is what NVIDIA uses. NVIDIA, of course, got its start with the video game industry. I remember being a kid and always wanting to upgrade your video cards just so you can play video games smoother. So GPUs were made for that, and that's what they're using for these large language models like ChatGPT. So NVIDIA is using hardware designed specifically for visuals. In turn, the company Groq is using different hardware that they themselves designed to run the language models. So their hardware is totally optimized for this type of software versus NVIDIA, which is optimized for graphics. Again, pointing to these equations that all arrive at the number 10 as the answer. That's exactly what Groq, the company, is doing as a competitor to NVIDIA. So this could be huge in the coming years because apparently the company Groq says that its LPUs, the language processing units, are specifically designed and optimized for sequences of language data. Examples given like DNA, natural language, code, computer coding, music. They say that all of this produces up to 10 times the speed of graphic processing units, the GPUs, used by NVIDIA, which is all used by NVIDIA's data centers to power the large language models, which of course is currently powering every single AI model out there, from Bard to ChatGPT to all the other ones, including all the image making ones. It's very interesting. I just put in this prompt for ChatGPT, and these are the 10 equations that it gave me. A very simple way to say that you can get at the same answer by different mathematical methods, which is exactly what Groq is doing. A fraction of a second compared to ChatGPT, which does kind of take a bit to provide you the answer, which of course, if you're running a big business for enterprise, for health, finance, this is a big deal. This is a huge deal. So I say forget Sam Altman and his used car dealership sales tactic with OpenAI and ChatGPT, because the Groq guy does seem like the real deal. Some call it revolutionary, where others go as far as calling it light years ahead of ChatGPT. Jonathan Ross founded Groq back in 2016 after he was involved as a pioneer in Google's TPU unit, Google's tensor processing unit, which was an initiative by Google to empower researchers and implement AI as part of a neural network machine learning. So all super interesting, and this guy was basically ahead of the curve. So if it really is 10 to 100 times faster than NVIDIA's GPU processing, I mean, that's pretty incredible. Jonathan Ross's Groq could be the gateway, the true gateway, not Sam Altman's salesman bull. where the company Groq even wrote a letter to Elon Musk because he named his XAI chatbot, he named it Groq. Groq with a K. So Groq, Jonathan Ross's Groq, wrote a letter to Elon to say, hey man, we know you like speed and good products, hence you copied our name, but please choose another name. Where they wrote, we know you like fast things, rockets, hyperloops, one-letter company names, and our product, the Groq LPU interface engine, the fastest way to run a large language model. However, we must ask you to please choose another name, and fast. They say in making this request, we're thinking about you as much as we're thinking about us. It must be annoying having all those people hitting you up on X, asking how Groq LPU is doing, how Groq is able to deliver 10x the performance, 10x the energy efficiency, and be 10x more cost effective. They write, that's plenty of X's, even for you, especially when it's not your Groq. Ouch, ouch, sarcastic and very to the point. Why would Elon do that? On purpose so that their company names get mixed up, so that he could be associated with the success of Groq? That is pretty. I certainly like Elon's humor sometimes, but that is completely up. That's pretty messed up. And funny enough, I just saw that Bloomberg put up an article that they just partnered up with the makers, Figure AI, the makers of what honestly looks like the next Terminator robot. A company called Figure AI, literally humanoid robots, utilizing AI with investors like OpenAI, makers of ChatGPT, along with Microsoft and even Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos' Explore investment firm, all getting together with Nvidia to basically help prop up this company, Figure AI, with the Terminator robots, which honestly does look pretty impressive. In the demo video, they have the robot making coffee, where they say that it's an end-to-end AI system trained in 10 hours just by watching humans make coffee. So by watching humans, they say this is our neural network taking the video in, of course, because the AI watching someone is essentially just video getting taken in by the computers. And supposedly, that's how it learned. Pretty interesting. But maybe, just maybe, Nvidia's days are numbered. Somebody posted this about Cisco, comparing it to Nvidia. Cisco being the world's largest manufacturer of computer networking equipment. Now I can't find the source of this chart, but maybe they're onto something. And, well, is it foretelling the future? Who knows? But there is a rising, important competitor to Nvidia, AI, Sam Altman, ChatGPT, and large language models in general. And just maybe, that's why Sam Altman from OpenAI, the CEO, that's why he's out there begging companies and even governments to fund $5 to $7 trillion investment. I am most definitely not a fan of Sam Altman at all. Generally speaking, he's a master grifter and a master salesman. The Wall Street Journal even has Sam Altman going to the Middle East, getting the big oil guys, rich oil countries like the UAE, trying to get them, along with others, to invest trillions and trillions of dollars to what he claims is to reshape the semiconductor industry, which of course would include Nvidia. Sam Altman appears to be a master salesman, so even if he succeeds just a little bit, that could hurt Nvidia down the road in years to come. So what's incredibly stunning is that in a matter of 3 years, Nvidia has blown away the competitors Intel and AMD. And I mean blown away, because as recent as 2021, Intel actually ruled the data center world, where now Intel just makes a fraction, literally a fraction of what Nvidia makes. They completely dominated the market. With this visual here providing some numbers to give you an idea of how much Nvidia just completely destroyed the competition. So Nvidia back in 2021 had half the revenue that Intel did in data centers. So as time went on, shortly after OpenAI with ChatGPT made its debut, Nvidia exploded, just completely blew up, because nearly all AI processing power is done via GPUs, at least for now. That was a huge jump for Nvidia. As you can see in the graphic here, 2023 Q2 was a massive leapfrogging event for Nvidia, with of course everyone jumping on the AI bandwagon. Nearly 100% of Fortune 500 companies are going to invest in AI, which means Nvidia. So these super strong showings will just continue for the time being, at least for a while. Where the company's gaming revenue sat at $2.9 billion, And gaming, of course, is how they got their whole start. They also have professional visualization revenue that only sits at $463 million. And they also have automotive revenue barely sitting at $281 million, which is actually down from $294 million. So nearly all the revenue from data centers actually just reflect the GPU platforms used, along with all of the associated generative AI applications, including, of course, all the image making. Interestingly enough, it says that large cloud providers represented more than half of the revenue from data centers, with those data centers supporting internal workloads and even external customers. So a lot of work sent to and from them via, of course, the internet, including automotive, financial, and even healthcare. All done and integrating Nvidia's AI infrastructure, all done through the cloud and on-premise. So big firms don't even have to buy a bunch of chips from Nvidia. They can literally just rent out the data center to do the work via the cloud. A pretty awesome business model, and it shows, obviously. But there's certainly a lot on the horizon that's coming. A lot of really, really wild, pretty unexplored areas in the space. Of course, if any of this is remotely true, that means a lot of people are going to be out of a job. What are they going to do? Sit around in the metaverse? Sit around with their Apple Vision Pro? How could people work to make a living? This is all very confusing. But again, I turn to the WEF for some clarity, because after all, we're just a bunch of soulless, hackable animals. But anyways, just hopefully not too many people lose their jobs. As the WEF put it, fear of becoming obsolete. All right, guys, well, thanks for joining me on this one. Always a pleasure, of course. Please don't forget to smash the like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.